I identify as MTF, that's math to furry. Anyways, hey, it's Poisson Variants, your mathematical maestro and LaTeX linguist. How is everybody doing today? I lost it. I was muted, but I died laughing at at furry trans femme being boy transform. Because if you like say in the ooh voice, it kind of works. I identify as a furry trans femme. Yeah, exactly. MTF. MTF is math to furry. That's what that means, right? That's what that means, right? So if I go around saying I'm MTF, people will just think I'm a furry. Quite frankly, genius. Common parlance, as it is. No, how's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Seeing you identify as a bard, does that mean you're a musician, or are you just like stealing attention, or what? Does that mean you have a high charisma stat? Does that mean you play the lute? What was I gonna say? Oh, I really, it's seeing Wrench, seeing you, what was the phrase? Seeing you make the joke about the scares discuss for the chat not being math, it made me realize that I am so happy that I want to get like versions of the variables drawn for like all of my regular chatters, because you guys have like all adopted your own little like personal jokes in relation to the stream, and it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. You guys are all so cute. You're doing perpendicular to the ground today. Ooh, I am sorry. When you are so orthogonal, you just stand there. I mean, that could be fine. Perpendicular to the ground is just you're existing, so that's not necessarily bad. Unless you're like head first down. Like that could be it. Means you're an extremely expressive person who doesn't know how they have a partner. That's kind of me, where it's like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I pulled the autistic one by being autistic myself. So, what variable would I be? I don't know. We have to. I'm gonna have to do a stream where I like design a variable based off every chatter. That could be fun. That could be cute. You guys are all gonna be slightly different. You guys are all gonna be like differently designed blobs. Like generic variable is just the blob, but then the blobs are gonna change dramatically based off what chatter it is. You're doing a 90-degree angle and then another, and then a 106-degree recline. 90-degree angle. Yeah, see, yeah. Okay, I can see it. You pulled the extremely anxious girl by asking about her art. Well, Zero and I's first interaction was we were dating other people. Technically not our first interaction because we were in school together, but our first like closer interaction was we were both dating other people, and I was friends with her boyfriend, and I was friends with her boyfriend, and so my partner at the time, and I would, when they were hugging, would walk over and wrap around both of them because we were taller. And so we would like a Russian nesting doll hug them, I guess. Zero did not like it. She got very pissed. And then her boyfriend thought it was really funny though, because like I said, he was my friend. He then later turned out to be a neo-Nazi, and that's when they ended up breaking up. And that's when I also stopped talking to him. He was an interesting... Yeah. Anyways, you'll make it your YouTube profile picture? Yes! I would love that. I would love personalized variables. I will create a cult, an army of variables, of mathematical variables, of which you will all show your faces of as variable bubbles. I don't know. Variables. The variables. Variables are the little bubbles that you can see in the little variable in the loading screen, where it has like the little light bits of color. It, not he. It. It's a variable. They can be anything. They. But yeah, and then I would walk around in the mornings, walk around the campus, and then she was friends with the one of my friends still, and then she and I pretended to start getting into fights, and then we'd be like, "What? You want to go? You want to go? Huh? Be like up in each other's faces, and then that's how we became friends, and then we became like best friends over the course of the year, and then we started dating. I love telling that story. Anyways, all fun and games until you go viral and have to draw 10,000 variables. There's a solution to that. Just don't go viral. I just have to stay niche and I'll be good. I just have to stay very niche and it won't be a problem. It's an ingenious to a solution. That's the solution we need. See, VTubers are like streamers or content creators trying to get popular. But if you make it more difficult for yourself, if you do get popular, you'll be at peace with not being popular. It's basically the equivalent of social anxiety. You just don't want to be in the limelight. Morning, Jay. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. What time is it there? You're like 9 hours ahead. 8 hours ahead? Are you back in Europe? I know France is 9 hours ahead of me. That's my only frame of reference. The thing is, I have no frame of reference as to where France is to the rest of the stuff. So, yeah. Yeah. Because for me, it's early afternoon. Then why am I yawning? I don't know. You paid your bills instead of getting cat treats? How dare you? How dare you? Now I'm just like thinking about what the design for each chatter would be with the variables. I'm like that's all I'm thinking about. I'm just like, what would everyone's design be? What would Jay's design be? Poisson needs to go to geography class. I mean, honestly, I should take one. I love rocks. No, no, I should take one, maybe. I don't think I'll need to for my master's program, though. I think I'll just be taking all maths. Lots of maths. Maybe a science there or two. Probably like an applied physics or something. Applied physics. Applied math, that is physics. Yes, that's what I meant. Drawing stream? Maybe someday. If I ever learn how to draw, maybe. I don't know how to draw, so. In the same time zone as France. That's geology. Just kidding, it's actually genealogy. Because you're now in the same genus as France. You want a class trip to Tamatawa? New Zealand. Okay, somewhere in New Zealand. Oh, is that the place that you sent the giant name of that was like really long that I'm not even gonna try to replicate, but was very long? You know the one. You know the one. You sent it. Gayology. Gayology. Or is it Jayology? The study of Jay being gay. Gayology is just pretty much what this chat is. Yes, that is indeed. That name, okay. Listen. Gayology, you don't need to... I feel like that's a social science. Gayology is in the realm of social sciences. Not in the realm of, well, actually. That's not a bad pickup line for in a very particular group. If you have STEM majors, that's a pickup line. If you don't have STEM majors, that's a confused stare. That's a one of those. Yeah. I'll try. Someone please study you. I don't know what's going on. I mean, that's the story of my life. I don't know what's going on either. But yeah, we'll create a J study group. Step 1, J, end up on a lab table. Step 2, you might not survive. Step 3, I have knives. Let's see what happens. You smell like George Washington. What is George Washington? George Washington probably didn't smell great. He probably didn't smell great. You know what? I don't get? Boy smell. Like, so like there's that thing about like boy smell. I don't know if it's meant to be a joke or not. Because in my experience, lots of men don't smell great. In my experience, lots of men do not smell very good. Like, by and large, not by and large, like it's either smelling like nothing, or smelling like BO, or smelling like way too much cologne. For some reason, there's like no middle ground. Why can't men smell fruity? I go out of my way to smell so nice. I love smelling nice. You know, I use face moisturizer, I use lotion, I use deodorant, I use shampoo, I use this like vanilla coconut body wash that I'm like, your shirt smell kind of weird. You don't know, right? Are you I mean, what you could always do is it like mildewy? Because sometimes they're just like not being washed or like dried to like the fullest properest extent that they should be. Oh, I have a message request. Oh, it's a bot. Wow. Because that can happen where it's like I have one shirt in particular. Particular. I had that with last night where it's orange. Zero and I played Night Range and I said orange. Where I have this one shirt that if I don't like, I think it's a different material from the rest of my stuff. I don't know what the material is, but so you like wash it, and then when I wash it, I have to spray it with like this kind of like a deodorizing thing, because if I don't, even when I like wash it and dry it and stuff fully, it smells like mildewy kind of, and I don't know why. Like the smell of distant burning rubber. That I don't know what that could be caused by. Might be your BO. Are you someone who like sweats a lot? Because if you sweat a lot, then maybe. And then just accounting for that, yeah. Which is the case of why you should go out of your way. That I don't know. I don't sweat a lot. Do I sweat a lot? No, I don't sweat a lot. But still, OCD has demanded that I make myself as good smelling as possible. So I guess that's the closest I have to what I would call my quote unquote boy smell. But like whenever I think of the phrase boy smell, in my experience, I just think of like BO or cologne. I'm just like, ugh. Why would people like that? Like musk. Or you know what distant burning rubber smells like? Yeah, I mean, everyone smelled like burning rubber far away. Not everyone. It's one of those smells where it's like, if you know, you know. I don't like the smell of gasoline, but I do like the smell of, like, diesel. I don't know. I like diesel when it's like when a big truck goes by and it releases like that burning diesel smell. I'm just like, that's like that's 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 kind of up there with bleach. I'm just kidding. Which, to be clear, bleach, non-moisturized bleach smells different than like bleach under hot water. Bleach under hot water is what I'm addicted to. Like, I've talked about this before when I worked at a restaurant. We had behind the bar, we had a glass dishwasher that was bleach based. And just, I would open it and then I would just sit there for like 2-3 seconds every time and just this boom, big blast right in my face. And I'd be like, I love it. I love it right all over my face. There's situations in which you may be attracted to boy smell, but you cannot list them in the less than 18 chat. That follows what I said very well. No, I just don't get what it would be. It like, is quote unquote boy smell just that? Is it just cologne? Is that it? Is that boy smell? Is it something else? Am I missing what boy smell is supposed to be? Regardless, I don't find it attractive. I do not enjoy it. What I think of as boy smell, I do not enjoy. I also don't like, I don't know. I would much prefer everyone to smell nice and fruity. I like fruity in the fruity and like literal fruit, not necessarily gay. Can everybody please smell gay? God. I mean, listen, in my experience, more feminine gay men, more feminine men and more feminine gay men tend to smell much nicer. In my experience. Just saying. Think of it more of a musk. Concentrated BO, essentially, especially in a certain center. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I would prefer my entire world to smell like chemically manufactured fruits or cleaning products. In a perfect world, a bit of both. I love the smell of like fruity cleaning products. Oh my god. Like lemon scented like Febreze and stuff. Oh. I have Febreze. I kind of want to just like spray Febreze around my room, not because it like my room smells fine. Hold a minute. I need to sniff around my room. Now I'm like worried about my room smell. Okay, my room smells fine, but I should wash my sheets today. I always forget to wash my sheets. I don't sweat a lot during the night, so it's not like something that builds up really. I keep my room very cold, but like I need to wash them more. Oh, I have scented candles. What scented candles do I have? I remember last Christmas, not this most recent Christmas, but the Christmas before that, I asked for a bleach scented candle and no one got it for me. I even sent them the link. It's a real thing. There are bleach scented candles and nobody took me seriously. And so I didn't get one. I got other scented candles. The other scented candles are nice, but I was like, I wanted the bleach one. One second. Let me see what... I'm going to light up a scented candle now. Because that's what I'm thinking about. One second. Let's see. Do we go vanilla spice? Or do we go coconut milk mango? Which candle do we go? Vanilla spice, coconut milk mango. Set up a throne, I got you. I've thought about setting up a throne. I'm like, eh. Like, I could set up a throne in theory. But it's like, eh. Like, I don't know. I don't need... neck crack. Okay. I don't need to for any reason. Like I have my little donation box, and I think that does more for me than a throne, because I have the items I need. I have all the items I need. It's just like a, you know. You say go with vanilla spice? Vanilla is very nice. I love vanilla. I also love coconut. But, so this is coconut milk mango, and it's just okay. Coconut lost a lot of appeal after you switched to a coconut toothpaste. I really like coconut. Actually, hold on. Coconut milk mango smells really nice. Okay, this is actually really nice. See, if men smelled like this, that would be great. Petition, there you go. That's my future goal. I am petitioning that we should change our genes. We should genetically alter humans so that they smell nice and fruity. They smell nice and fruity. What do we say? What do we say? Okay, hold on. I just happened to open it because I got a notification. I didn't realize that you did. Jay, thank you for your donation. I don't know why it doesn't notify me. Thank you for your donation, from 2 days ago. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your donation from 2 days ago. I don't know when you did or why you did, but thank you. Very sweet of you. All human men can smell fruity, but don't touch your werewolf men. Oh, model. There we go, sweetie. All right. Don't touch your werewolf men. Werewolf men. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to break it to you. You know what? I mean, what would werewolf men even smell like? I'm just imagining wet dog. I'm just imagining wet dog smell. And werewolves probably just smell like dogs, right? I don't like wet dog smell. I don't like dog smell. No. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab flames so that I can light up my vanilla spice candle so that my room smells like vanilla spice during stream. Give me one moment. Good thing my mic is muted. No one can hear voice reveal. All right. Oh, that's great. Again, good. Mic's off. Hit unmute. All right, I'm back. Musky is what werewolf men smell like. Ew. I don't want my werewolf men to smell like Tesla. I wonder. You know what smells great? New book smell, and in some cases, old book smell. Old book smell can be very hit or miss in my experience, but new book smell is delicious. I love going to a bookstore and then just like flipping through a new book. When I buy a book. I don't do it with books that aren't mine. That would be impolite. Going from like opening a book I just bought and then just burying my face in it. I wonder if any of my books still have a new book smell. Like any books I haven't extensively read. Let's see. So it's not as strong, but one of my books does still have that new book smell. I love the smell of books. I'm a very smell sensitive person. If you couldn't tell, I'm very into sniffs. This has been. I had not expected so much of this. Like for at least 20 minutes of this 30 minutes I've been live has just been dedicated to sniffing things. It's really stupid. It's stupid. I know I brought it up. I just find it funny. I find it funny. I can find my own weird decisions humorous, you know. God. I am not controlled or fully dictated by the whims of the variables. I'll be honest, I had no plan for today. You know what my actual plan was? You know what my actual plan was in terms of what a plan was? I was considering starting stream with just the thumbnail Poisson PNG and no model and talking in a different voice and like acting different and pretending I was quote unquote thumbnail Poisson. There's a future stream idea for you. I mean, do an entire stream in the future as thumbnail Poisson and act completely different. Thumbnail Poisson is gonna be like a valley girl. Just because of like that one art where the like free space art where when I was in the old model where I'm like shrugging. I don't know. I mean, yeah, thumbnail Poisson's gonna be canonically a different character. So then people can simp over a different Poisson and leave me alone. It caught me so off guard when that person came in the Undertale chat and was like saying like, oh, so you're a femboy. Interesting. I love femboys. I'm just like, okay. The first time I've been actively hit on in a chat. Which, you know what? No, it might not be. No, someone wants to ask my gender. They're like, hey, are you a guy or a girl? I want to know if I can smash. I'm just like, okay. Whatever you say, Chief. Just... Why are my eyes going wide? Oh, it's because if I smile, then it goes wide. You know, that guy finds the femboy male wife of his dreams. I hope so too. I hope he can support. He can support the boy wife of his dreams, male wife of his dreams, or be supported by. You know, normalize femboys in the workforce. Normalize femboys in the workforce. They work just as hard. There's so much stuff I can say, and I'm not gonna say it. I want an idea for, you know, I find it amazing. I think this is why I think I have ADHD, even though I've never been diagnosed with it, is the fact that I can just topic jump and I don't really care. What was I doing? Femboy makes 2 million a year in OnlyTans. I need to do that. Oh my god, there's so much I want to do. I want to make an OnlyTans stream. I have no idea how that would work, but it would be an OnlyTans stream. Oh my god, I have an idea. What if, so I don't know if you know, have you ever seen a member only stream? I've never actually watched a members only stream because I've never become a member of a stream, or of a channel. But members only streams thumbnails for VTubers are often like sussy. And so it would be really funny to make a sussy thumbnail, have it be a members only stream, and have it be called an OnlyTans stream. And then it's just the entire time talking about tangents, hyperbolic tangents, hyperbolic tangents, and like tangent lines. The entire thing is just stuff like that. It's just tangent related math content that has nothing to do, and the sussy thumbnail is just like members only stream, who knows what's going on behind this paywall. And it's just more math. It's just more math. And then I just actively post clips from the stream, so it's like you don't even really have to pay for it. That's my genius marketing plan to siphon the money out of all of my viewers. Little by little, I will rob you all. The dream. I sure is. You can't even really hear the music. There you go. Last 3 minutes before the channel would be. Listen, people have the sussy thumbnail arts all the time. It's just a matter of making a sussy thumbnail art locked behind a members only stream. Or not locked, like you set up the members only stream and then you do the sussy thumbnail one. And then who can see it? YouTube corporate can't see it. They're not members. Can you do more on a members only stream? I don't think so. I don't know. I've never seen one. Like I said, I've never become a member of a channel, so I have no idea. I'll just like ask Twitter. Yeah, you can do watch-alongs. That's true. I know, I know some people do like ASMR behind it, but I think that's more of a case of they know people will pay for the ASMR, not because YouTube would stop them from doing the ASMR. So, who knows? Yeah, I could do a watch-along of something, but yeah, I don't really watch any movies. I mean, if we found like a nerdy movie that we could watch and then like critique the mathematics behind, the science behind and stuff, I'd do that. That'd be fun. That would be the only reason. I think that would be the only reason I would ever do a members only stream, would be if I wanted to stream something that would normally get taken down. And that sounds wrong out of context. Stream something like a watch along. You've never watched one because giving money to I know, who would give money to VTubers? I've never actually super chatted before. I have given subscriptions. I've subscribed, never super chatted. Who have I subscribed to? It was on Twitch. I'll be honest. It was through the Amazon Prime subscription. I saved money. I lived better. Walmart. I was going to say to talk about something. Before I went off on this tangent, I was going to talk about something, and I don't know what it was. But it's the story of my life. The story of my life is not knowing what I'm doing with said life. But what was I talking about? Does anyone know what I was talking about? Oh, no. Yes. No. Wait. No. No. It was before the OnlyTans thing. It was. It was. I was gonna ask your guys' opinion. Your guys's. I was gonna... I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna ask you guys' opinion on stream idea. I don't remember what it was. It might have been about an endurance stream. Like, if I were to do an endurance stream, what would I do? I would need a definite plan for it. But I don't know what the plan would be. Because I would want to do something that can be engaging to... Because I don't want to just be like a... Because I was watching, like, Cleo from Phase Connect. And she was playing Total Warhammer Total War 3, I think. And she's known for apparently streaming like 10 to 12 hours. I watch her sometimes. She's fun. She's nice. And when playing the game, do people just like narrate the game? And that's what I think I have trouble with the like gameplay watch-alongs, not gameplay watch-alongs, like playing a game. Because I feel like I'm not... So like in the case of Undertale, I get it. Because Undertale's very weird. And so me reacting to the weirdness that is Undertale is enjoyable. Because like the anything with the dogs, all the nonsense dogs in that game is definitely something. You can't get into phase because so many of them have bad vibes. It's a weird... There are like certain people who are like, will say kind of crazy shit and then be like, people are like, oh my god, that's so based. It's so based. It's like when someone is sexist, someone's misogynistic, but they're a woman, and so then their all male chat will be like, oh my god, that's so based. That's so based. That's so based. And you're like, no, you're just kind of being misogynistic. And it's unfortunate. And that's, I've noticed something that happens with several phase members. But then there are others who are like the reason I mentioned Cleo is because she's just like, she's a former university professor and just kind of seems like a very real person. Unlike me, who's a very fake person. You guys know nothing about my personal life. Not true in the slightest. I know, you guys know nothing about my personal life, which is why I introduced my partner to you on my anniversary stream. VTuber chats are terrible. Tagging yourself and calling yourself out is crazy. That's power move. That's power play. I was gonna say something. Video game streams. Doing a video game stream over... Like, it's tough for me. It's tough for me. Because as cool as it is to, like, have those cool moments, or to go through stuff that I know that you guys are interested in, or want me to see to react to, like, that stuff's fine. Again, Undertale's a prime example of something that's just so bizarre that it's like, okay, how is he gonna react to this nonsense that's coming up? How's he gonna not react to the nonsense of dating this skeleton? Or the dog eating the absorbing the artifact? But if I were to try, every time I've tried to like play a game, like playing Witcher, it doesn't work on stream for me. It just doesn't work on stream for me. Like just sitting, like if but then again, like I enjoy watching people play games, and I'm fine with them just kind of like yapping while they do it. But I don't know. I feel like that's tough for me, or maybe that's just a skill. That's just a skill that I need to work on. But I think it's also fine if that's not a part of my content at all. I think it's fine to have a streamer that doesn't stream games, really. And personally, I think I would like that more. I would like to phase out... Not phase out entirely, I would like to really limit the amount of games I play. I would like it to be games that like limit it to games that you guys will think I will find very interesting, but that you guys will also be able to contribute to. I like the fact that Undertale, yes, I am liking Undertale. I mean, it's the worst game ever. What do you mean? Terrible game. Like you said, Undertale is, in the pacifist run, a puzzle game. And that's fun. And I think that's fun because solving the puzzles with you guys, and I know you guys know the answers, a lot of you guys know the answers, and so you can give hints and whatnot, and I find that very enjoyable. And so I'd like games like that. Or games where I can collaborate with you. For example, Crab Game was really fun. If I ever play something like I know that I did like one Final Fantasy 14 stream. I don't think I'll ever do another one unless it was like Final Fantasy 14 raids, and I did the raids with chat kind of thing, or a collab. That would be something. I'd be fine with doing games in collabs. It's just a matter of playing games on my own that are games just to be games, or games that don't necessarily fit with my brand, or games that you guys can't really contribute to. That doesn't feel like a thing I want to stream. That doesn't feel like something I'm like, it's like going over to your friend's house and watching them play a game. And even that's more social than this. This is more parasocial. So it's like, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it besides just it feels distant. It feels distant in a way that and feels like disconnected in a way that I prefer the connection of interaction that we have. And I would prefer something where we work together or interact. And so that's why that's also why I am willing to spend an hour before an Undertale stream just talking. Because in a way, I am putting it off because I know that when the game starts, I'm going to be primarily talking about the game. And I want to talk about other stuff. Like I said last time, I don't want to just talk about my life. I want to hear about all your lives. I like hearing about other people's lives. As much as I was complaining about the fact that, like, my boss never asks me about her life, or my boss never asks me about my life, but tells me all about her life. I want to be asked about my life, sure, but at the same time, I do want to hear about her life. Do I want to hear as much as I've heard? No, I don't need to hear about her kidney problems. No, I don't need to hear about her bone density. Not extensively, at least. So, like, there's a middle ground. I think finding the middle ground is the important part. And that's where streaming things like puzzles and interactions and anything that's either A, brain dead enough for me to just yap over and for me to get yapped at works, or it's the stuff where you guys are interacting and helping solve puzzles, or giving hints, or solving puzzles yourself, or we're all playing together, or in the case, a collab. Because a collab I'm fine with because it's about that social interaction again. I think that's the big part for me. Relatable. That's what I think. I think it boils down to what streaming is to me. To me, it's not. And I wonder if this is a lot of people will enter a streaming space and then just like play popular games. Why should I watch someone? Why should I watch someone who's playing a popular game versus someone else who's playing a popular game? Why should I watch someone who's just like on their own playing something unless I like their personality? Streaming is designed to be social for me. Streaming is designed to be a community thing. I will always prefer it to be a community thing over something individual. Which I don't know if that's the case for everyone, but sure as heck is the case for me. Ooh, during this stream, I got a follow on the Twitter. I sure do love Twitter. It sure has had no negative ramifications in my life. Which, to be fair, it's really funny. Getting back on Twitter and then seeing how much drama there is really funny. And I just, again, still post nonsense. People get so angry so fast. It's so fast. Why are you losing your mind over someone? Yes, someone made a bad joke. Someone made a joke in poor taste. That sucks. That's unfortunate. Move on with your life. Nobody really cares. People, this is the thing. People on the internet don't exist. Unless you want them to exist. Again, in my case, I want you all to exist, so you exist, hence the streaming. But I can just have people on Twitter that just don't exist. I can just not go on Twitter. I win. Congratulations. Those people now don't exist. And obviously, you know, as you get bigger and bigger in branding and stuff, and there are lots of different aspects to it. There's a study that the type of people to comment on internet drama and in streams are usually more entitled. Really? That's very interesting. Like, the entitled in the sense, like, they believe their opinion has... not opinion. Like, they believe that their opinion should have more... No, opinion was the word. They believe that their opinion should have more weight, maybe? Because that's what it feels like, where everybody feels... Like, so many people want to contribute their 2 cents, but sometimes maybe their 2 cents just is pointless. The number one chatter in every stream. I thought it was because you liked me, but I guess not. I guess not. I guess you don't like me. Here I thought I just found a chatter who actually likes me. We're just here for my boy wife qualities. You're entitled? No, Murdoch. No, Murdoch, you're not entitled. You're so hot. But that is an interesting like. Is that like an actual study, or is that just something is noticed based off of just like trends? Did someone write a paper on this? Is there a paper I can read on this? It's my go-to. Can I read a paper on this? I want to read Z's paper. Z published a paper with someone else, and maybe even the help of her chat. I think it was with the help of her chat, and I want to know what that paper was. We got to still figure out. We got to have a stream. We got to have a time to sit down and figure out what is playing. I have not had my headphones on for a bunch of this, so we're going to the tavern music, because I like the tavern music. But we gotta sit down and find a time to figure out what we should do for a research paper. It's a real study, see if you can find it. Ooh, heck yeah, you know what? React stream. It's our React stream where I'm reacting to research papers. Which I feel like is a valid reaction. They're meant to be read. I think research papers is one of those... There's certain things where I'm like... I don't know if it's React content is valid content. I personally don't like it at all. Don't just drop the tavern music without elaborating. The tavern music. I've never really played WoW. That's not true. I never got into WoW crazy. I was once subscribed for a month, got to level 80, and then that was before the level squish. I think the max level at the time was 120. Got to like level 80 or 90, and then I just stopped playing. I think if you play alone, it's probably a lot less fun, and I was playing alone. I haven't been as big on 14 recently. I need to get back into 14. But it's just a time thing. That's the thing. There's only so much time in the day, and there's so much stuff I want to do. It becomes very difficult very quickly to just to try and fit that all into the day-to-day schedule. If I never had to sleep, I wouldn't. That would save me a lot of time. I find sleeping to be very tedious. Like, if I'm the kind of person who will be cuddling. I'm the kind of person who will be cuddling with someone, and while I'm cuddling with them, I'm thinking about stuff I need to do. Like, Zero will fall asleep so easily when cuddling, and most of the time I'm just like, what's on my to-do list? I don't know if that makes me a bad person or not. There's no malice by it. It's not like I don't care. It's just like, I can't sit and do nothing. My brain always needs to be something. Like, I think that's a big thing for me too, where I like... It's why I have trouble sleeping a lot of the time. When I'm on, I can't turn myself off. I turn on to do work, I turn on to get productive. And so if I'm turned on, then my brain is so active. And then I can't turn off. I can't turn off. And so I'm just up all night, unable to do anything, because my brain, my body is still so actively on. You wish you could sleep more. You hate waking up like 10 minutes before the bus. You need to take... Oh my god. That's rough. I've noticed that at certain times my body has put its foot down. During my college years, though, nah. During my college years, my body was just like, no, we're up. You're not sleeping. We are not sleeping. That's the rules. Ooh. Oh, Jay, you found the paper. Or a similar paper, I see. Not the exact paper you're looking for. You feel what they say. The effect of social media comments on viewers' effective reactions towards elevating online videos. Interesting. I know, think about how common it is for people to like scroll comments. I noticed that whenever, because I don't have a TikTok, but whenever Zero like finds a TikTok she likes, she'll open up the comments and start scrolling through them. And I'm like, but why? But why? Why do you care what people say about this? People on the internet don't exist. I don't know. I guess one could argue it's another form of socialization. One could argue, because it's the internet. Who doesn't love to argue on the internet, apparently? What was the one that was... The one that was going around was the, People claim they don't like turn-based combat, then will argue on Twitter. I love that. Very funny. Is this paper... Could I read this paper? Is this paper open access? This paper is not open access. Of course. This paper is $60 for access. I need... Oh god, if I get accepted to the grad program, holy shikes! I just realized, if I get accepted to the grad program, I will have access to so many libraries and so many research papers that were previously locked because it's like such a big university and it's connected to so many institutions. So it's going to have access to so many things, and I'm just going to be able to read. Oh my god, 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 yeah, I just realized. I'm so excited. The most excited. This is the most excited I've been about grad school in a while. Oh god, I so hope I get in. I so hope I get in. I'm just like holding my breath. I have to hold my breath for another like 20 days before I find out. It's funny, I have a coworker who's gonna find out at about the same time if he was accepted to a bachelor's program at the same university. And so it's gonna be funny if he and I end up going to the same university on 2 different levels, so I'm get to like end up stay with this coworker. We're gonna be going to the same uni. It's gonna be so fun. I hope I get a chance to like run into him a bunch, because he wants to go into chemistry, and I want to go into mathematical modeling of cancer. And so there is some level of crossover there. So I'm hoping we get to. I'm hoping I get to see him. He's a really nice guy. He's like an ex-Navy guy in his 40s. I've noticed that, where it's like people that like, if I run into a military guy in the wild, I'm like, sometimes they have a bit of an ego. Sometimes they're a bit of, and that's not everybody, but it's like there's like a, you know, a stigma. So it's, and especially how many people are in the military, it's unfair to say that all military people are certain ways. That's not true at all. People who are like notably ex-military and sometimes make it a big deal of their personality can sometimes be, there's a lot of caveats, so it's like 10% of 20% of 30% of probability of maybe, can make their personalities somewhat not great to interact with, in my opinion, a little bit. But then you run into these like ex-military guys who go back to school and they're like the best. I don't know how to describe it. It's somebody who's been through an experience where they have motivation, they have discipline, like self-discipline, they have respect for people around them, and they have structure. But they're also very appreciative of the fact that they have access to this higher education. And it's something that's very nice that you don't see a lot in younger people. I say that like I'm old. I say that like I'm old. I'm not old. I'm 24. I'm not old. But other people my age, and I'm not ex-military, so maybe I'm a cocky little shit. Not, I swear. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm guilty of this a bit, but unappreciative or like slacking. They're the people who will instantly turn to ChatGPT. Unappreciative people my age will very quickly turn to ChatGPT. Okay, no! I'm not old. I'm not old. I'm not old. Why do you guys call me old? I'm not old. Guys, I'm not old. I live with my parents still. I'm not old. Although that's not a caveat. You can have older people who live with their parents. Especially nowadays, it's much more common as you get older and older to kind of stay more at home, because financially it's very difficult to get out. It's especially where I live. If I want to get an apartment somewhere, and this is the case in a lot of places, if I want to get an apartment somewhere, it's very expensive. Claims not to be Unk is 24. No, that can't be old. It's like, you know what? It's like people calling 30-year-olds hags. I'm like, what? Like my sister just turned 30, and I'm like, referring to my sister as a hag, like, doesn't line up. Like, she's not old at all. Like, how is someone a hag at 30 years old? It's like being called an it's the equivalent. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, someone with boomer parents, 30s, not hag status. Y'all are living. Yes, exactly. My sister is a millennial. My parents are almost 60. My parents are almost 60. my mother would not be. This is why I could never let my parents meet my chat, or just meet any VTuber chat. Because if someone called my mom a hag, she would not be happy with that. She would not be happy with that. So, I don't know. It's yeah. 30 years old is a hag? No. Like, her kid, my sister's kid is 7? 6? 7? That wasn't intentional. That wasn't intentional. That wasn't intentional. No, my sister's kid is like 6, yeah, 6, 7 years old. I legitimately don't remember how old he is. Granted, it's like she's his stepmom, but still, it's like her partner is he's same age as her, maybe a year or two older. So it's not like a it's her kid. It's her kid. Okay, scribbling down a note on my whiteboard. 7 years old unk status. There you go. I know, right? You're gonna like are kindergartners gonna be calling 5-year-olds or 5th graders hags? The hell is this? The hell is this? The hell is this? Why is this the norm? Why is this the norm of people behaving as such? Why does everyone suck? Why does life suck? Why are people terrible? My crash out where I decide that everything is terrible. Live on stream. Breaking news, VTuber decides to give up right now. VTuber decides it's no longer worth it. I'm sick of this right now. You know what's cool? You know what I'm a fan of? Like, this is gonna be unrelated. There's been a resurgence of Dark Souls 2, and that makes me so happy. I freaking love Dark Souls 2. Would I ever play it on stream again? I know I technically have, but it just makes me happy that people love the game, or like are getting back into the game that I love so much. You can never be attracted to true hags because it's literally just your mom's age. Right? Right. In my case, it's like straight up. Imagine like me dating someone who's in their 50s. It's like, what the fuck? What the fudge? Fudge the what? Ooh, a moco? It doesn't line up for me mentally. And then yeah, people will call 30-year-old streamers hags, and I'm like, what? No. No. It's like where it's like your body starts to go at 30 years old. I think that's just if you don't take care of yourself. Because again, I use my sister as a prime example. She goes hiking all the time. She goes rock climbing. She's been to the friggin' tops of mountains. It's really funny. She's just like sent pictures. Be like, hey, I'm on the top of Mount X. And I'm just like, how did you get to the top of Twitter? But she'll just like send pictures from the tops of mountains and just be like, hey, check out this. Or like, we did this climb today. Went to the top of a mountain. That's supposedly old. Like, what? Fuamoko is great, but the battle lines must be drawn aren't. My Fu or a Moko, you will judge me based off this. Do I like Fu? Are you asking if I like Fuawa more, if I like Mokoko more? The fluffy or the fuzzy, and I don't remember which one is which. They're both funny. I guess I don't know if I admit this. I'm gonna admit it, because why not? Let's admit this, because I'm sure this is fine to admit. I don't know if I've said it before in stream. But I remember during Fuamoko's debut, someone immediately caught on to, because it's a VTuber chat. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Calm thyself. Calm thyself, Jay. I will give a proper response, but this is me we're talking about. If the main event happens at the end of the night, you know, that's your big match, that's your title match, you gotta have the build-up. In summary, there's no way I'm going to get to my actual point without 3 minutes of verbal build-up. So someone start the goddamn timer. I bought my mic. Someone start the timer. Anyways. No, so it was right when it was during Fuamoko's debut. I remember this. God. It's already been like 2 or 3 years. That's crazy. Time friggin' passes, yo. So it was during their debut. And they had listed out like their favorite anime or like their favorite stuff. And it was like this big wall of stuff where it was like tons of writing. And in the writing was one of Fuwawa's favorite anime was Yosuga no Sora. Which, if you don't know, is a wincest anime. And I think they're just really good at kayfabe. If you don't know what kayfabe is, it's a wrestling term that, funny enough, VTubers and wrestlers kind of line up in this regard. Or at least, like, idols and wrestlers line up. Which is why you have people like Maki Ito, who's straight up an idol wrestler. Or former idol, current wrestler. She's awesome. Where you have lore. You have lore, you have a backstory, you have kind of a fake reality that you superimpose onto reality, and so like you play a character essentially. And I think I'm pretty sure Fuamoko kind of goes all in on that. They don't really share personal information a whole lot as far as I know, or like they do, but it's like veiled in lore, more so than other people's are. And I think part of the kayfabe is that Fuawa is a big siscon. And I think they kind of feed into that. So I think that was intentional. But ever since the debut, remembering the fact that Fuawa is a fan of Yosuga no Sora, be that in or out of kayfabe, I'm just like, okay. And that's why I am on Team Mokoko, I guess. No, they're both funny. Yeah. Seems that Japanese streamers do that more than EN, especially with yeah, because it's more of an idol culture in Japan. That's part of it, where it's definitely more of an idol culture, so you want to kayfabe it up. But now now the real question is, have I in fact seen Yosuga no Sora? No comment. I didn't know what it was when I watched it, that I was like, why does time keep looping? And then I learned later that's based off a visual novel, and I was like, why is the story leading towards? And I was like, oh, yeah, that sure is a something. That was the same time period. I watched High School DxD, so yeah, yeah. Fun watch along with the family. Be really funny. I know. Isn't it straight up an H anime? Basically, yeah. It's there. It doesn't show everything. It's the same amount of nudity as High School DxD, so a lot, but yeah. Anyways, this has gone in a direction. Yeah. Yeah, no, I watched it about the same time I watched High School DxD. I don't know. I remember that time it was during the Dark Souls 3 stream. I was like, what's the most embarrassing, like an embarrassing fact about myself? And I was like, I've seen the entirety of High School DxD. I posted that clip, and then someone was like, it's an awesome anime. And I'm just like, no. I hate harems. I hate harems so much. How did anime schlock? How is there so much garbage anime out there? And why is it so popular? Why is there so much popular garbage out there? Why is there so much popular garbage out there? I don't understand. I don't understand. But is what it is. You cherry pick. You know, you associate yourself with the stuff that you like. Poisson not beating that was when I was like 15. That was almost a decade ago. Almost a decade ago. Yes, pubescent Poisson watched crappy horny anime. I am sorry. It's embarrassing to share as an adult. Or even at the time, it was embarrassing to share, so. I don't know, man. That's the thing. I'm a better person now. It's like my first ever serious girlfriend, I was a terrible person to. So it's But I learned from that, and so I beat myself up about that a lot, and I feel like I became a better person. Which game am I making a Maxor style video about? Currently, no video game. Currently, my Maxor video is actually about something else. Currently, my Maxor video is about math. So, take that. No, oh my god. Dude, making a math-based nonsense, it's so difficult to do some of these edits, because with a video game, you have so much footage to edit around. You can make a montage of something with just game footage. You can't do that with math. You can, it's just more difficult, and so it's something. It is something. It is coming along. It is coming along step by step. But my god, it is work. I finished like the intro to it. I need to keep working on it. I actually want to keep working on it today. There's a few things I want to do. God, I need to get ahead on YouTube Shorts. I need to make a YouTube short for tonight. I need to make a YouTube short for tomorrow. I want to make a YouTube short for Friday, which reminds me, actually, I need to set out a poll on my YouTube. I was thinking about doing Hollow Knight, but I kind of want to continue Undertale, and I think it would be better to just stick with one. I would like, because I'm someone who would like to finish. I like to finish. I like to complete projects, things, games, etc. Why did this music end? Or pause. Things before I necessarily move on to the next one. So Let me throw up a YouTube poll real quick. Create a post. Just because I'm here, so I'm gonna remember to do this. Which game should I stream on Friday? Undertale or Hollow Knight? I'm like 60% through Undertale. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm surprised that I'm already that far. I guess it's not a super long game. I was told it's not super long. Gonna hit the speedrun world record of 10 hours. Record. Why did I say it like that? Speedrun world record. World record of Undertale. I'm ooh-oohifying passively. That's terrifying. Terrifying concept. My milk delivery today did not deliver milk. It delivered yogurt and bagels, but no milk. Strange. I got 2 more areas, and one of them was pretty short. Well, since it's a Friday stream, there's a good chance I'll finish it on Friday, maybe? But depends on if I get stuck on the later bosses. I'm sure I beat Dark Souls, I'll be fine. Listen, it's a pacifist run, so it's a puzzle game. It's not Toho. That's what they told me. And I'm gonna that's the story they gave me, and I'm sticking to believing it, baby. I don't know what I'm gonna do for an endurance stream. I don't know what I should do for an endurance stream. Like, oops. Should I just endure my suffering? Milk delivery, what is this, the 1950s? It's convenient. It is convenient, and it's supporting it's a local business. It's a local business that does milk delivery. They also deliver like other baked goods, and other dairy products and whatnot. And so I like it. I personally like it. It's very nice. Every 2 weeks, and I never have to leave the house again. That's not true at all. I don't DoorDash. I don't DoorDash groceries or anything, because I like to leave the house when I can. I go to the gym. Tomorrow morning, I go to the gym. Oh, I felt so proud of myself. I felt so proud of myself the other day. Man, on stretch Sunday. On Sunday, I was at the gym, and I felt so proud of myself because my endurance is getting so much better. Like my cardio, I can run for so much more. I did a 30-minute straight run, and I felt so powerful. Sound like Starscream there. I love Transformers. Transformers Cybertron is the shiznits. Hope they don't give family discounts. The kids would bankrupt them. Get it back. Welcome back. What do you mean with the milk delivery? I'm confused. Kids would bank. I don't understand the joke, Jay. Yeah, I felt so proud of myself. I was at the gym. I was able to run, do like a 30-minute run. 34-minute run? I guess 34-minute run if I count like the 4 minutes I did of cooldown walking. I do 2 minutes of like a fast cooldown walk, and then it's 2 minutes of a slow cooldown walk. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting so much better. And I feel so proud of myself. I should probably do some weights, but I don't want to bulk up at all. I don't want to bulk up at all. I don't want to go Super Saiyan. And I guess in theory I could work on just muscle strength and not muscle mass. But inherently I will get a bit more toned. Which wouldn't necessarily be bad. Maybe I should like work out with the goal of being hot enough to post gym selfies. I don't know. Go to the gym just to do a photo shoot. What happened? Yeah, we've just been yapping. It's been an hour and a half of yapping. Because I had no plans for this stream. And so I've just been going. I still don't get the milkman joke. The kids would bankrupt them. Like, why would the kids bankrupt them for buying milk? I don't get it. I still don't get the joke. But no. I've been thinking about doing weights too. It's also, there's so much time in the morning. I go to the gyms in the mornings before work. Not always. I want to go more, but my schedule changed, so I can't go as much. But I don't know. I want to go more, so the joke was infinite. Oh, milkmen sleep. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. 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 I get it now. Okay. That's me for believing in monogamy, I guess. You having a stream Let's Obam Gangnam Style? What year do you think it is, Ava? I know that's like come back, but what the hell? Jim Selfie Discord channel win. Here, what I'll do is I'll make a separate Twitter account and tell no one what it is, and you guys can play the game of trying to find my Twitter account. That's just me posting gym selfies once I get toned enough to do it. Sound good? Sound good. All right. That's my workout goal. That's my workout goal. And then you guys can also use it as motivation for when you work out too. Bah! It's come back. I think it's come back. I've seen it around multiple places. It's not just Ava yapping in chat. Like, I know Ava's kind of schizophrenic energy, and so she's gonna say whatever she's gonna say, but like, it comes from somewhere. Lost track of what year it was. Buy a time machine. It's called Back to the Future, and guess what? It's a movie I didn't like because I saw it when I was 8 years old, and guess what? I don't care about being 8 years old, so I didn't care when I watched it. Whew. I don't know. Sometimes I notice I just that speech pattern I just did is like the script reading speech pattern, and I noticed that I will be alone in my room or doing anything really, and I'll be talking out loud to myself in that speech pattern, and I'll just go. I'll just improv and just go. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Where you just talk and talk and talk and talk. And just see how long you can improv chain off of your own nonsense. You're not a schizo. Ooh, squirrel. That's dog behavior right there, Ava. That's dog behavior. That's not cat behavior. You're not living up to your... We all have branding here. You're not living up to it. You're not living up to it. I'm sorry to say. I've had my iPad sitting up in front of me. Earlier in the stream, I took 5 minutes during stream to do my Arknights dailies. But my iPad has been sitting here in front of me. I turned off, the screen turned off. But it has like biomathematics, basic drug elimination formulas for like half-lives and like leaving the blood and whatnot, because I was doing research with a biomathematics textbook the other day. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll study this during stream. But I have no idea how I would do that, because I don't have a webcam set up. After I did my shift, after I changed my setup with like my monitor and my mic stand, it's difficult for me to set up a... I didn't even have an open port for webcam. 1 second. I have to go under the desk. 1 second. Oh my phone. Alright, I'm back. Squirrels and cats have tails, therefore you're genetically identical. Fair enough. You thought the squirrel was another cat. Fair enough. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't even have an open port for that. You know, You know what I mean? I wonder if I open up a throne and then just the only thing I put in it is like a $1,500 gaming PC, if that would work. Stream where I become a devout Catholic. You mean a devout Catholic or a devotee Catholic? A devout Catholic. No. No. You know why? I'm gonna make that joke. I'm gonna make that joke. I'm gonna make that joke. I'm fighting my urges. Just like a Catholic. Wow. Except in this case, the Catholic is to not make horrible jokes. Cyberpunk 2077 endurance stream. We talked about how the devs cut out the furries because they're what? Was there gonna be a whole furry gang? That would've been awesome. I would have to start the game from the start, and you guys would have to make sure that I never engage in the boinkage. You'd have to make sure that I never boink nobody. I don't want to be showing that on stream. So it would have to be a chastity run. A chastity cyberpunk run. That could be fun. I would have to see how well my computer can handle it on stream. The TTRPG had lore accurate furries as a streamer mod, or at least a mod streamer mode. I'd have to check. Yeah, I think there is like a no nudity mode for at least like your character when you're in the menu. Like you can have your character always have like shorts on. I had to look down to remember what shorts were called. It's like shorts. Sorry, unavoidable. Incel percent, boob percent, any percent run, boob percent run. My god. No. Okay. Then I'll just have to. Yeah, I'll just have to be extra careful and figure out if there's a. Are they unavoidable in the story? In the side content? Am I able to do side content without getting banned? Is that possible? Is that possible? A lot of mouth noises. I'm very mouth noisy today. Mouthy. I'd have to see. Maybe there is a mod for it, but I don't feel like. Maybe. But today you accidentally meowed during math and the teacher just stared at you for a solid 12.4 seconds and continued teaching. Good. Did you just like, did they ask a question and just be like, meow? And then just stare them down? Yeah. It's the second mission you fish a naked... Oh yeah! That's right. I have a character, and I don't remember how far they are in it. They're pretty much max level, but I've done, like, none of the story. So, it would be hard to do an endurance stream. You came into the stream for VTuber Poisson? Bless. See, Cheese appreciates VTuber Poisson over Thumbnail Poisson. Thumbnail Poisson sucks. Thumbnail Poisson sucks. Oh wait, hold on. I need to be doing the where is it? Anyways, the problem about cats that you accidentally meowed. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's such a reaction. It's yeah. It took my brother explaining 6-7 to me to then me using it at a presentation at work and doing the friggin' hand things, and now I'm already brain coded. I'm already coded to if I hear 6-7 in public, I'll just passively do it. It took like a week. I'm so disappointed in myself. You love joy baiting. You love tricking people into being happy. Wow, how dare you? See, that's what we need more of. We need more of in the world, especially in the online world. We need people who are just like, hey, you're great. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you compliment me? VTuber Poisson's your parasocial friend. Thumbnail Poisson is your crush. There you go. Members only stream where it's just Thumbnail Poisson. Just Thumbnail Poisson. All right, then I have to design a voice and a personality for Thumbnail Poisson. I don't know what it would be. I talked about it a bit earlier where I was like, oh, maybe I could do like Valley Girl or something. I don't know. Meow baiting. That's like when you you know the cat toy where you have like the little like fishing rod kind of thing and you just like dangle it on a string. There's a little cat toy on the end. That's meow baiting. I just saw your thing in the Discord, cheese. So a question on your homework said, if all the edges of a cube are expanding at a rate of 3 centimeters per second, we're looking at how am I supposed to figure it out? And then sentence sounds for the companies. Oh, that's volume. How am I supposed to figure out a 3-dimensional change? What? What? I feel that. I've had those moments too. I've had those moments all the time on stream with Project Euler, where I'm just like, basic concept? Nah. Alright, see you later, cheese. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you could stop by for a little bit. You like those toys? I should set them around my room, because that would, oh my god, those would be awesome fidgets. Those would be awesome fidgets. Because, like, Zero has a thing in her car that hangs that I'm always, like, patting and, like, playing with that, like, hangs down to, like, a little bug cat that's hanging from the ceiling. I'm always just, like, hitting it. I need to hang stuff like that around my room so I could just, like, reach up and, like, tap stuff. Oh my god. That would be genius. That would be genius. Oh, what Yuri were you... Which Yuri were you reading? What Yuri were you reading, Jay? You tell. I may have read it. I've read a lot of Yuri. I've read a lot of Yuri. Yeah, a lot of Yaoi, too. A lot of cross-dressing manga. Confessions for a Moron. Story of my life. Oh no, I haven't read that one. Oh, it's on Dynasty Reader. Okay. Then I should read. Oh, what else did the author work on? Because I might know some of that stuff. Let's see. How do I get together with my childhood friend? I've read that one. An aside told you. I don't think I've read that one. Yeah, how do I turn my best friend to my girlfriend? Yeah, I've read that one. That one's cute. Remember that one? Yeah. That one was cute. There's another one I'm reading. I'm rereading some right now. I can't remember what it is. Because the names are all in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak any language. I speak English, but only barely. I keep trying to reach for my Red Bull and almost grabbing that candle and then just like drinking a candle. Look on the internet. The internet has some crazy things. You can find it free to read, Ava, but please support the author's work when you can. Is the Ooh, okay. Let's do this. Hold on. Hold on. This is awesome. This is great. We're doing this. Kirby or Yuri? Is this the title of a Kirby song or the title of a Yuri fiction? And let's play. Memories. I'll never forget you. The parentheses makes me think Kirby. Where even weeds won't grow. Yuri. Oh, really? That's Kirby. Highway Blossoms. Yuri. Even in Sorrow, Black Loot. That's Yuri. Sugar White Holding. That's Yuri. Really? Have a great trip after the credits roll. That's Kirby. Really? I'm bad at this. My Blue Garnet. That's Yuri. Warning, beware of the dog. That's Yuri. Cheerful Amnesia. That's Yuri. Marissa is now idle. That's Yuri. Beauty and the Beast Girl. Probably Yuri. A lot of these are Yuri. Song of Supplication. That's Kirby. Crossing into the Parallel with You. That reminds me of Other Side Picnic. Really? Okay. Be happy in the real world too, okay? Kirby. Really? I'm bad at this. Some prefer nettles. Yuri. Crescent Moon and Donuts. Kirby. Oh no, I've read Crescent Moon and Donuts. I've read Crescent Moon and Donuts. Why did I click that? Subtraction Tautology? That's a dope name. Hold on, what's Subtraction Tautology? Hold on a minute. Internal Struggle? Girlfriends, Yuri. Rainbow Storms, Yuri. Girl Who Fought Darkness, Kirby. I don't really know enough Kirby. Yearning for Yellow Room, Kirby. Liturgy of Holy Submission, Kirby. Gemini Reunion, Kirby, okay. Monster Wants to Eat Me, Yuri. Bright Spinning Planet, Kirby. The Blue Star on That Day, Yuri. Chasing Down the Mini-Boss, Kirby. Care for a Refreshment, Kirby. Windstar, that's Kirby. Really? Heaven Will Be Mine, really? Puppet Offering, really? I'm bad at these. Sunny with a Chance of Oasis, Kirby. Having Watched You All Alone. Oh, that sounds... That's your Red Clandestine Affair. Sherbet of the Sea of Fog. Yeah, I don't know a bunch of these. This is genuinely tough. Okay, I'm done with that. No, but I've read Crescent Moon and Donuts. I was like, why did I choose that for you? I was like, some of these I have read. Yeah, I don't remember the Mongol title much, but I remember, like, yeah, I've read so much. Sporkle, a Sporkle grinder when you were like 10. Was Sporkle the site we were just on? I was not paying attention. Yes, it was. Okay. Half the badges on Sport. There's badges? There's a lot more to that website than I realized. I did not pay attention to any of that. I just first checked to make sure there's no information to dox me somehow, and then I was like, nope, okay, let's go. Like, it didn't be like, hey, do you want to sign in with Google automatically, and then show my legal name on my, like, my email address or something? I don't know. Has that shown up on stream before? Yes, absolutely. I've doxed myself like 5 times. There's enough information about me out there that I have given that if you link together, if you're as acoustic as I am, if you link together timeline, if you link together research topic, if you really link together certain bits of information about certain different people, it'd be very easy to figure out who I am. It is not difficult, especially based off where I live and my descriptions of certain areas. 2 planets approach the Roche limit. Yes, I know. I love that. I love that name so much. Like, yeah, because the Roche limit's where it's like inescapable gravity, right? That would be a Genius Yuri title. The fact that that's not a Genius Yuri, or not a Yuri title is amazing, because that would be a perfect Yuri title. Not a John Green Hussein. Nope. Good guess, but not even close. No. No one's ever going to guess my first name, because my first name's weird. My first name would be very weird. I've talked about this before. I've talked about this tons of times. Very unusual first name. Not a very guessable first name. And most people will hear my name and be like, huh? What? And I like have to say it again. I'm like, and they're like, and I'm like, and they're like, Jebediah, not even close. Nwasuki, not even close. To be fair, I don't know that many cowboy mathematicians. To be fair, I don't publicly show off as I don't publicly present as a cowboy. I do. Okay, Polska Grom, no, but good guess because Polish, but not even close. I am Polish. My name is not Polish at all. Not gonna guess it. My favorite bit. Let's play Try to Dox the Streamer. Try to dox the streamer. I've almost doxed my VTuber name at work accidentally. Didn't you meow at your coworker that one time? It sounds familiar. I don't remember that, but I have a feeling I probably did. Hubert Blaine Wolschlesteinhausen Berkerdorf Sr. Google his full name. Okay. So like I'll say to myself on stream, I'll go like, think Poisson, think. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, so I'm not reading that. Oh my god. That is long. Love bullet, not explicitly Yuri. I don't know, I opened it, it says it's a Yuri manga story. Reborn is Cuban American who's jumped out. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll read that. That sounds cute. That is a long name though, Ava, and I googled it and I'm not reading all that. I didn't. Oh, but so sometimes, you know, on stream I'll be like, think Poisson, think. And I was at work and I was like, think and then I had to stop myself and I was like, think legal name, think. But yeah, I was about to be like, think Poisson, think, and I was like, wait a minute, my name's I'm not Poisson right now. I'm not Poisson right now. I'm someone else right now. When you have to mask in public, when you have to hide your to hide your legal name, because anime boy. Shimiji simulation, love Shimiji simulation. Okay, I'll write that one down too. So for Ring Fit endurance stream, I don't have Ring Fit. I forget, it's for the Switch, right? I could get it. And my model has enough tracking where you'd be able to see me going like, and like moving around, but I could get it. It won't be too hard. I just don't want to spend that money right now. That's what the throne is for. Get thrones so that you guys buy me video games. Force Poisson to pronounce ridiculous things. I mean, my name in general is a mispronunciation. You know, it should be Poisson. But, no, I like Poisson. I call it Poisson. I've always called it Poisson. Like how I've always called it El Hospital. That's not true at all. But I like lying to you guys. Chat got me with the Yuri fix. Fish point. The irony there is that I actually hate seafood. So I hate seafood, so no hablo French. El Hospital. I actually learned why I was reading a book and they explained the pronunciation thing of like why El Hospital is spelled hospital. It's interesting. I don't remember it, but it was like cool because I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then there were a few other French words where I was like, oh, that makes sense too because it lines up. It was just a cool thing to learn about whatever you would call the study of language. The etymology. Entomology is bugs, etymology is words. Regardless, I thought it was cool. It's cannibalism to eat a fish. Fair enough. So when I was doing my rebrand, I was thinking about doing it kind of fish-like, and I am blue. But then I was like, I don't want to do fish stuff because sea life makes me uncomfortable. Sea life makes me uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's so cool. And I think I like it because it makes me uncomfortable. I like things that make me... This is weird. I find things that make me uncomfortable very interesting. Like, I just want to stare at them. I want to stare at stuff that makes me uncomfortable. I am under the water. Please help me. That meme is so funny. Zero quotes that one all the time. But I don't know how to describe it. I like things that visually make me feel uncomfortable. It's like when I was younger, I had a fear of heights, and yet I couldn't stop myself from looking down from tall places because I really liked it. I liked the fact that it made me scared. I liked the fact that it made me feel uncomfortable and kind of scared. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the testing the boundaries is really cool to me, or it's like good for my brain. In the same way of like I like learning new stuff. I want to be put in uncomfortable situations, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Because it helps me grow. It helps me grow. Face your fears, you know? It's time to face your fears. Never played that game. Love that soundtrack, though. Having a fish model seems like you're begging people to say you smell like fish. That's true. That would be an unfortunate side effect, is like trying to get people to sniff a fishy smell. But as we've been over this stream quite a bit, I am very smell sensitive, and I don't want to smell like fish. I want my boy smell to be fruity as hell. In both regards. I want to smell like strawberries. Strawberries. Oh, strawberry smell. Oh man, I should get a strawberry body wash. I should get a strawberry body. I want a new hand lotion. So I'm sensitive. My skin is very sensitive to a lot of particular like lotions. I want a hand lotion that is like strawberry smelling. I need to carry more with me. I don't carry any with me. I want to carry lotion with me so that I can always smell like, my hands can always smell like strawberries. Be nice. Don't know why I would need that, but I would enjoy it. Because then if I go and bury my face in my hands because exhaustion, then it'll smell like strawberries. Tomorrow's my long day at work. Today is the last day of my 5-day weekend. I'm so sad. I'm really happy that I got to do 3 back-to-back streams though. It's been a while. It feels nice after taking that like week-long break. It was like a 12-day break, 11 or 12-day break. Be able to just sit and have these streams. And I set up a poll during the stream. I want to know if on Friday, I sound like I'm winding down to end stream, but I'm not. I'm just talking. I want to know if I should do Hollow Knight or Undertale. I would like your guys' opinion. Okay, who wants to react to a 3 Blue 1 Brown video? Who wants to react to a 3 Blue 1 Brown video with me that I wanted to watch? Who wants to watch me turn to a React streamer live on stream? It's about the physics behind Euler's formula, and it's part of a 3-part series about Laplace transformations. Anyone? Neck crack. I like shoulder to neck. I slept on it weird. It's so weird right now. Anyone interested? Anyone interested? Half an hour video? I'm interested. If not, I'd be fine with watching it on my own. Post stream. I even have to. I gotta organize myself better. You watch yourself, your soul. Why, thank you. It's such good content. I love stealing other people's content to generate my own content. I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person. The thing is, I'm not making any money off of this, so it makes me a better person. The parasocialism got you too deep. You'd watch your paint dry. Put cat girls on the video and watch. Okay, 1 second then. I have an idea then. All right, how are we gonna do this? Alright. 1 second while I adjust my setup so I can sit down. We put the standing desk into sitting mode. So that means I have to adjust my microphone too. So this might be a bit of noise. I'm sorry. Microphone adjusted. I have to adjust my camera. Camera, quote unquote. Okay, recalibrated. Okay. We're gonna pause this music. And let me switch over to thing. Watch later. Did I put it in my watch later? I'm glad you guys didn't see my watch laters. 3 blue, 1 brown. Videos. This is the story of a man named Stanley. Alright. I love watching my Okay. You say it's only 11. Once Kikato messaged me and it was like 10 p.m. and they were like, why aren't you asleep? It's late there. Like, what? Wow. There we go. Now it says nothing. I was gonna put a cat girl on stream to hold attention. Oh, I know what to do. 1 second. I know what to do. Let's see. Hmm. If I open it, hold on a minute. Here, I'm gonna keep playing music for you guys. You guys get to watch whatever this is. There you go. So that'll play while I try and this sucks. This music sucks. I hate this. I don't play World of Warcraft, so I don't really know. Congratulations, you get Borderlands 3 soundtrack. While I try and search for something in my files. Is it in here? Oh, I forgot I was gonna draw that. Be really funny. Drive, thumbnails, this. Okay, cool. Let's see. Where are you? Where are you? Little gif of mine. So it opens this as a GIF, but it doesn't save as a GIF. Why is that? Ba, ba, ba. I wonder. Okay, let me try opening something on the stream and see if this works. It's in my Google Drive. Should ask my dad. See, I can't make the my dad left jokes. My dad may still be around. He may be emotionally distant, but he's still around. He may have emotionally missed my whole childhood, but he was there physically. It's depressing. Oh no. I just want to open that. There's some unsolicited, depressing personal information about myself and my emotionally distant family. That didn't save as a GIF. Interesting. That didn't save as a... that's messed up. He's not a bad guy. He's just... He's one of those, like, very inwardly focused people, if you know what I mean. He has a hard time paying attention to others, I've noticed. Oh, why isn't it working? I have a little GIF that's supposed to be working. It's not working. What if I open it like this? It just saves as that. Oh! Oh, but I can do it like this. I can do it like this. I can do it like I got some. Copy that. Okay, that should work. Scribble. Ignore that. And it's not showing up. Hello? Hello? I'm gonna show up button. That did not appear correctly, so that's cool. That's cool. Anyways, here's a cute little emote that is not loading correctly. Weird. You're bouncing. Jesus. You're a Maj. You're a Maj. Why is it not working correctly? Weird. What if I try to open it as just an image file? Maybe? Fly alpha, linear space, yes. What? God forbid I have some footage. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Seems that now that doesn't exist. Alrighty. Weird. It's weird. I don't know what's up with this file. It's like The file kind of works. Very cute though. In theory, it should be transparent. Let me quickly actually shoot Erica a DM, my artist. It's 6 in the morning for her, but that's fine. She'll respond when she responds. I just want to make sure I can get the better version of the file. If you still have the file... and it as a... and that, Fusion for it to a GIF is being a bit weird on my end. Would you be able to send it to me as a GIF file? Thank you. Okay, perfect. She'll get back to me when she gets back to me. In that case, it's fine. The point is I wanted to set a cute GIF in the corner while we watched the video, but I suppose we'll have to do without. We'll live. It's okay. It's okay. We'll live. Alright. Time to become a React streamer.
This is the first video in a trilogy aimed at demystifying...
We're not going to watch all of these, we're just going to watch one of them.
A powerful tool for studying differential equations. Although we won't dig into the Laplace transform itself until the next 2 chapters, everything that we cover here sets up the mental frameworks and the prerequisite knowledge that make understanding that transform as easy as I know how. This video is a lot more than just preamble, though. It's a very fun lesson in its own right about how one of the most famous equations in all of math enables a bizarre trick for solving an equation that is used ubiquitously throughout physics.
He's got a good voice.
The main characters throughout this chapter and the next 2 are exponential functions, and I'm always going to be writing these as e to the s times t. Here we think of t as being time, and then s is just some number, determining which specific exponential we're talking about. One of the big aims of this video is to motivate, using physics, why it's useful to give s the freedom to take on not only real number values, but complex ones as well. But wait a minute, what does it even mean to shove a complex number into an exponent?
That's an amazing line, Jake. Several years ago, Laplace transformed from a famous mathematician into a corpse. That's honestly kind of the goal of most mathematicians. They want to be famous enough to be known for transforming into a corpse.
Here, I imagine there's a bit of a divide in the audience. You see, there's some regular viewers of math videos online for whom the specific case of plugging in pi times I is a little bit cliched by this point. It is amply covered by many videos on YouTube. But on the other hand, most students find this to be an understandably baffling notion. Given how absolutely fundamental this is to everything that follows, even if
Homeboy's really like, your content, the other content you watched was probably trash.
If you fall into that first camp, I hope you'll agree that it's worth kicking things off here by reviewing a very beautiful and visual way to understand what this idea is all about. The nice part is that what follows doubles as a gentle warm-up for visualizing and thinking about differential equations.
God, I love his voice.
You start with the fact that e...
Should I make a video intro? Should I make a video intro like that? Like... La 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 la. That would be so nice. Like, his is a fraction of a second, but I'm like... If I do, I should hire someone to do it. I've tried making... it is so difficult stuff on... being... Like... It's tough, because... You can only... do so much without money. And like, yes, I have a job, but you know, commissioning stuff is pricey for good reason. So welcome, meme addict. But it's like, should I just, because all of my content up and besides like this model, everything else is done by me. Like this overlay and whatnot was all me, and so it's tough because I want to make something really nice looking, but at the same time, it's like, that means I have to do everything on my own, or I have to learn to do all this stuff on my own, or I could just hire someone. And I want to hire people because I'm like, software he animates with is open source. Ooh, I should check it out. It's probably in the description somewhere.
You start with the fact that e to the t is its own derivative. And really you should think of this as what defines the number e. Exponentials with other bases will have derivatives that are proportional to themselves, but e is the special number such that that proportionality constant is 1.
That's a great
Very
visual.
often in a calculus class you visualize.
This is an awesome visual. I'm pausing so much, but guess what? That's what happens when you do a React video, I guess. This ratio is a great way to visualize why e to the t is its own derivative.
Derivatives as slopes of graphs, that's all well and good, but it's not the only way. You should get in the habit of flexing your mind a bit more. For example, let's say you think of this as telling you the position of some point on the number line as a function of time.
Hello from Switzerland. Ooh, welcome. More people from across the world. Yay! Think of e of t as position. Ooh.
Then what the derivative expression is telling you is that at every moment, the velocity vector must look identical to the position vector. And more specifically, because you know that e to the 0 equals 1, anything to the 0 is 1, you also have an initial condition. It's telling you start at the number 1. So at the very first moment, the velocity is also 1, meaning it's pointed to the right, but the farther to the right the position gets, the faster it must move. So even if you had never heard of the function e to the t or exponential growth, this property alone is enough to give you a very visceral feeling for how it gives a value that grows and at an accelerating rate. But what if there was some constant in that exponent, like e to the 2 times t? Well, by the chain rule, the derivative is then 2 times.
In other words, our position's going to be kind of skyrocketing off of that. American burgers. I am American, and I do like burgers. A good amount of my chat is not at least from the United States, but I too like burger. What's your guys' favorite burger type? What's your guys' favorite burger type? I'm from the United States, but I know a good chunk of you are not. A good chunk of the variables are not. Oh, you're Moroccan. Cool. I don't think we've ever had someone from Morocco in our chat before. So welcome.
Times the function itself, and reading this dynamically, it's telling you the velocity vector is always 2 times the position vector. Again, the farther to the right the position gets, the faster it must move, but this time the feeling is that growth gets out of hand all the more quickly.
I like that description, out of hand.
Negative, say negative 0.5. Well, once again, by the chain rule, the derivative of this function is negative 0.5 times the function itself. So at every moment in time, that velocity vector looks like a 180-degree rotation of the position vector, but scaled down to be half its length. This means you start moving to the left, but as you approach 0 with a smaller position vector, that velocity must get proportionally smaller. So it approaches 0, but at an ever-slowing pace.
It gets slower and slower and slower and slower.
Decay. But now for the fun part, why we're here in the first place. What if that
Hey,
constant
Shane.
was an imaginary number? I, the square root.
You haven't missed much, Shane. We literally just yapped for 2 hours and just started watching math stuff. Food got you talking. All the talk of food have got you really hungry. That's fair. That's fair. Now I'm hungry too.
Root of negative 1. Again, the chain rule tells us that the derivative of this function is going to be I times the function itself. Geometrically, multiplying by I
share the stakes.
Like a 90
share the
degree
stakes.
Rotation. So this is telling you velocity always has to be perpendicular to position. For anyone who's a little bit rusty or needs a quick review with complex numbers, let's say you have an arbitrary complex value, a plus bi, which you typically draw in the 2D plane like this. The easiest way to think about multiplying by I is to go component by component. A times I ends up on this vertical imaginary line, and then bi times I is bi squared, which is negative b. This is where
This just makes me feel like I'm watching like Final Fantasy 14 tactic raids. Like raid tactics. All right, now let's do our two-dimensional complex numbers. Does anyone have access to the fourth dimension? No? Dang.
you actually use the defining property of I. And you'll notice each of those two individual components is rotated 90 degrees, so the sum as a whole also has to get rotated 90 degrees. Looking back at the equation, where this time, evidently we must be thinking about position as being in the complex plane, even if you had never heard of raising e to an imaginary number, and even if it's not clear at first what that would actually mean, the expression is telling you that this value has to move in such a way that the velocity vector
it's good that you got your phone.
Be a 90-degree rotated copy
Yay, vector
of
fields.
the position vector. The only motion that satisfies this criterion is rotation around a circle. And you can be more specific. Because the initial position is 1, that velocity vector always has a unit length. So this tells you how fast you have to move. Your point...
I guess the keyword here is consistency is why this works. I like that's something that I really like about, or that I find useful when thinking about derivatives, or just e to the t in general, is that level of consistency, like he talked about at the beginning with the ratio of the derivative. Oh, what's my major? I have a degree in applied math, and this fall, sorry, so in a month, I'm gonna find out, or 20 days, 15 days, in 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, I will find out if I got accepted to grad school for my ideal applied math program, and if I did, then I will be getting my master's in applied math. Ah! Yeah. What about you? If you turned into a nerdy stream, I assume you're some level of nerd yourself, which has me intrigued. I love to hear about what my viewers are studying. I love to hear about what people are learning and studying.
Wanders around that circle in such a way that it traces 1 unit of arc length for every unit of time.
I respect for us being good at math.
One of the most famous equations in all of math, if you wait for pi units of time, you end up precisely halfway around the circle. This is why e to the pi times I is -1.
I have high respect for anyone who's good at anything.
Always worth emphasizing to any students initially confused.
I have, it's important. Yeah, be proud of anything you're good at, because it is worth it. That's something where it's like, people sometimes spend so much time on, oh, I'm not good academically, when academics are not everything at all. Academics are such a small part of existence. Not everyone has to go to school to be successful. Hope I have a promising career. Aw, I hope you do too, whatever you are up to. And I would love, like I said, I'd love to hear what you guys are up to as well. I had a whole rant about this at the beginning of the stream, or earlier in the stream, about the social implications of streaming, the parasocial implications of streaming, but I do love to hear about what you guys are up to. So, I want to hear about what you guys are good at too. The PS2.
Confused by this expression is just how misleading the notation is. When you input a complex value,
nonsense if x is complex,
very little to do with repeated multiplication, and
I want to use that phrase.
Not that much to do with the number e. The computation that it refers to is plugging in the input into this infinite polynomial, the Taylor series for e to the x. It's actually very fun, I think, to take a moment to interpret the literal meaning of plugging in something like pi times I. For each one of these polynomial terms, as you take a higher power, each extra factor of I rotates you another 90 degrees, and then the pi to the n divided by n factorial terms initially grow, but then they shrink as that denominator takes over, and you end up with this spiraling sum that converges to -1. Now, that said, it is not at all obvious just looking at this infinite polynomial that if you change the value t in the expression e to the I times t, you're going to end up
you're trying to be a
walking around
history
unit
teacher?
circle. This is why focusing on the property of being its own derivative is a lot more helpful
That's
than
really
focusing on
cool.
the underlying computation. In practice, people get used to using the expression e to the x as a notational shorthand here and really think nothing of it.
Are
Throughout
you
this lesson, I'm going to be...
Are you a big fan of like what prompted you to get kind of like into history? Because for me, what prompted me to get into math was the fact that I really liked applied physics and whatnot, or I liked astrophysics, and I was always good at math. And then I realized, oh, I just really love math, and then I just kind of like doubled down on it. And then I was like, oh, I love math, and then I really tripled down on it. And then I was down bad for it, and then I just kind of went obsessive on math. You're done with your English studies major exams. The administration to you time grading. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's always my favorite when you're like, oh yeah, I'm you know, I'm just waiting for with bated breath to see if I get a response from did I do well. That's cool though. English studies major. So it's like English studies major. What exactly does that entail? There's so many disciplines where I'm just like, I honestly have no idea what that type of degree does. What that type of degree would be focused on. Very interesting idea. Because whenever I think of like an English studies, like my mom, she has an MFA in creative writing, and that's my only frame of reference for I guess English related work, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I don't know. I don't know what would qualify as English studies. That's like, oh, there's so many different fields. You're grading midterms yesterday at 10 a.m. The admin told us that they forgot to scan like 40 more. Of course they did. See, that's the usual. That's the usual. When are they actually going to get on top of stuff? Never. Never. Gotta love it.
Pulling up a complex plane representing possible values for this number s, and for each point on this plane, I want you to be able to think about the corresponding exponential function, e to the s times t. We were just talking through what happens when s is equal to I. On the lower right, I can show you how that output changes with time, and then on the top right, I might show a graph where, in order to fit it on the screen, I'll typically only graph the real part of that output with respect to time. In this case, it looks like a cosine wave. If s is a different imaginary number, something like...
Looks like a cosine wave. I wonder if we can utilize that in some sort of fashion. That actually becomes a very useful thing. A cosine plus or minus, you know, what was it? A cosine alpha plus or minus B cosine, or no, is it A or alpha cosine of alpha t, or A cosine of alpha t plus or minus the imaginary times beta sine of B of t or something? I don't remember. You know how you were just always pretty good at history, love stories of people. You're history where it comes where you learned wrongs already. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Learning from past mistakes on either an individual scale, very useful, but also on a global scale, especially with the current way the world is right now, is very important. Is definitely very important. Learning from different perspectives, learning from different cultures. Yeah, I'm with Jared. Is there a specific area you're interested in? Is it like Renaissance history? Like Larry, you said you were aiming to be a history teacher. Are you looking at like world history, or a specific country's history, or a specific history in specific contexts? What do you like, a specific time frame? Like, again, I don't know what the different specialities would be. So I'm curious. Keep talking, keep chatting. Keep chatting so I can keep learning. I can keep learning from my chat. The dream. You like Japanese and Chinese history? Oh, okay. Very East Asian kind of stuff. That sounds interesting. It is really cool to hear about the like stuff like Japan's sort of like, I was talking with someone about this the other day. Japan's kind of like sort of xenophobic history. And so when you have missionaries who make their way into Japan, then Japan though closes its borders, but those missionaries are already a part of stuff, and so it helps that like religion grow and become ingrained because it's like locked in a room, so to speak, with people who are then spreading this ideology that really speaks to a lower working class kind of thing. I find that very cool. History is very cool. If if I had been able to minor in something, I probably want to minor in computer science, but if I had been able to minor in multiple things, then I probably would have minored in history. You'd say Mongol China. Mongol China is cool. I never really learned much about it. I learned enough in like high school and whatnot, and like AP World and stuff. I remember learning about the basics of kind of the development of China, and like warring China and stuff. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know a whole lot about it really. All I know is the thing where it's like Genghis Khan being related to a crazy amount of people. Emperor Lee takes power, 6 million perish. direct cause and effect. The only piece of tragedy I know are Yellow River, Marco Polo Bridge incident. Yeah, and then I know about some square. I know about some square. Be there or be square. That was the phrase of the time. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry. I'm gonna press play.
2 times I, it means you rotate at a different rate. And on the one hand, this is obvious. Throwing in a 2 in front of the time obviously moves you twice as fast. But again, I think it's kind of fun to read what the derivative expression is telling you dynamically. In this case, you can read it as saying the velocity is always a copy of the position vector, rotated 90 degrees, but stretched to have a length of 2. More generally, it's common to label this imaginary part with the Greek letter omega, which describes the angular frequency of the motion. In other words, how many radians of arc length does it traverse around the circle per unit time? This is just the imaginary
Nothing as wild as Europe and wards. Yes.
A real and an imaginary part, something like negative 0.5 plus I. On the one hand, you can split up the exponent.
Genghis Khan was wild. Genghis Khan was wild, and yeah, I don't, like I said, it's all I know about the Mongols really, is what I learned from Age of Empires 2. The Age of Empires 2 campaign, that's my Mongol history, and a little bit of AP World. Be there, be squared. You better not be the Minecraft Twitter manager. No, I don't want any association with Minecraft, being a Minecraft streamer, Minecraft content creator. That doesn't end well for anybody ever.
And this part here is telling you that the magnitude decays over time, and then this part is telling you that there's rotation. That's all well and good, but for fun, another way that you
That's a good way to think about it
is to continue with the previous intuition. To understand what multiplication by any complex number looks like, you can ask what combination of rotation and stretching would place the vector at 1 onto this new value, s. For this example here, that would look like rotating a little over 90 degrees and stretching it out
Leopold
a bit.
of Belgium
So
was one of the worst.
Expression is telling you this is always the relationship between the position and velocity vectors.
I wouldn't know if he wasn't in Age of Empires.
This gives you a very visceral way to see why the motion must be spiraling inwards. You'll sometimes hear engineers refer to this as the S-plane, which essentially means you should think of each point on that plane as encoding the entire function e to the st. The imaginary part of S is always telling you how rapidly the function oscillates and in which direction, and then the real part of S is telling you whether the magnitude grows or shrinks. Positive real parts corresponding to exponential growth, negative real parts corresponding to exponential decay. This key equation telling us that velocity is some modified version of position is basically a differential equation.
Mm-hmm.
And for you and me, having just seen how an intuition for reading off a differential equation
I gotta
like
figure out
this
what his
can
editing
explain
software is.
what
This is really
complex
cool.
exponents mean, at least if you want e to the x to retain its core property, let's flip this around to get back to our core question and see how a different set of differential equations can motivate why you would ever care about complex exponents in the first place. The easiest case to show you what I mean by this is a very central example used all throughout physics, where you
Oscillation.
imagine having a mass on a spring. We're going to describe the position of this mass.
Good thing about history is it's history. True, although history does have a tendency to not repeat itself, but mimic itself, especially in recent days. It has been something, to say the least. I try not to get political at all, but yeah, no. It's kind of not possible. You know, regardless of politics, it's just chaotic. And that's bad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's stick to math. Repeat, it's like a periodic function, like e to the it. Yeah, exactly. Wow.
As x, which will change over time. The value 0 is going to correspond to the equilibrium position. The derivative of this position versus time function, of course, gives you the velocity of that mass.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second derivative, the rate of change of the velocity, gives you its acceleration. The key feature of this spring setup is that the more you pull that spring to one side, the more strongly it accelerates the mass towards that equilibrium position.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, we say that the force, which is equal to mass times acceleration, that's Newton's second law, is often well approximated as negative k times the position.
Mm-hmm.
K here is just some positive proportionality constant. It tells you how strong the spring is, and this whole equation is telling you force is proportional to position. Now, the reason this example is used all throughout physics is because there are lots of other situations where you approximate a force as being proportional to some kind of offset. Often it's not exactly that, but as a first order approximation, it really helps you model what's going to happen.
Yeah, just going back and forth.
It's also common to...
That's one of the things about physics. So this is like a physics... Put on Subway Surfers, your mind can't handle the formation. That's why you learn. Don't just give up. Absorb what you can. And keep on moving forward. Like, personally, I already want to rewatch this. Because there's some concepts where it's like, I never thought about... What part we were at, like 11 minutes? I never thought about this, really. And so... Or not this, where are we? This part. I never really thought about this part. And so I want to rewatch it, honestly, to better understand it. Like
polynomial, the Taylor series for e to the x.
So, like, I get this mathematically. Boom, 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 boom. If we're in the complex plane, and
it's
then...
actually very fun, I think, to take a moment to interpret the literal meaning of plugging in something like pi times I. For each one of these polynomial terms, as you take a higher power...
Oh, you're working on models in Blender. Cool.
I rotates you another...
Are you like, are you doing like animation or something? That sounds cool.
They're 90 degrees. And then the pi to the n divided by n factorial terms initially grow, but then they shrink as that denominator takes over, and you end up with this spiraling sum that converges to -1. Now that said...
You appreciate the openness in this? Aww. Then congratulations, you are one of the variables now. That's the goal. A welcoming space. A welcoming, learning, inclusive space.
It is not at all obvious just looking at this infinite polynomial that if you change the value t in the expression e to the I times t, you're going to end up walking around a unit circle. This is why focusing on the prop...
Okay, so this is something... This is something that I'm, like, seeing this, and I need to stop and think about. Why does this work? 3D design. When you get enough, you'll probably make a UD game star. Ooh, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. That would be cool. Do 3D games on stream. Development on games and stuff on stream, I find very cool. I like people creating stuff. Congratulations, one of the has been one of the most Riz things ever. Unintentionally rizzing my chat. See, normally that's the goal, apparently. So let me think about this. Because yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble wrapping my head around it. So we move up. Why does this work? Why does this work? So if I go ahead, plug this in. Welcome back, Ava. We're looking at Euler's formula. We're looking at a physical representation of it. Let me wrap my head around this. So when we plug in, pi times I, boom, 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 and we're shrinking down towards -1. As t increases, I to the t. Okay, we're gonna push towards. Okay, never mind. I'm good. I'm good.
It's just looking at.
And now we can hop back 11 minutes. Sorry. You can. Okay,
It's
back to where
also
we're.
common to include a term here proportional to the velocity. We call it a damping term. This Greek letter mu is representing another positive coefficient.
Okay, this is what I was going to talk about. That you can just use Taylor series. You can. It was more of just they were talking about Taylor series, and it was more of a representation of it on a complex plane. It's I that's my problem with so this is my problem with kind of like watching these videos is I don't learn very well. Excuse me. I'm very burpy from my Red Bull. I don't learn super well from just watching. I need to be involved. I need to be doing examples. I need to be physically working on it. Otherwise, it's not going to stick. So I need to take a base example. I need to mess with it. Am I going to do that on stream? Maybe. Right now, probably not, just because otherwise this 30-minute video will end up being 4 hours long if I just sat and played with it. You don't learn super well if it's applied. You learn super well if it's pure. Interesting. Yeah, like I have a bit more tough time with purely theoretical. And that's maybe why I find analysis so cool, because analysis is pure math that you can apply. And so if I start to mess with it, then it starts to work, and I like seeing examples of it. But it's not just seeing examples of it. I have to play with it. I like to play with it. Oh, what I was going to say about this, though. This is before he included the damping term. This is one of the reasons why physics messes with me. So I only ever took like 1 or 2 physics courses. Funny enough, being an applied person, but my application ended up being in like image processing and stuff. Different type of applied, not physical applied. But if you have these models that utilize something like constant, like a spring constant or something, but don't have a damping force. So often in early physics courses, you're told ignore friction, ignore drag. Your only constant's gravity, and then you mess with it from there. I don't like that, because then you add these new variables, and I understand why you want to set up this base idea and then you want to mess with it. But then suddenly when I'm creating the models in these physics problems, you have to start accounting for these new concepts instead of the concepts existing from the get-go. And I think that messes with me. And so I never was able to construct the models properly, I guess. And that was the thing that I found so difficult in physics courses. And if I get into the graduate school, then I'll probably have to do more physics courses for sure. But maybe well, since I'm focusing on mathematical cancer modeling. So maybe we'll see. Anyways, constructing those models I'll have to become more comfortable with, but I guess I can only avoid it for so long. I should really just get back into it. Anyways, back to the video.
Proportional to position. Now, the reason this example is used all
You have to go to the library to get more math.
There are lots of other
please do.
situations where you approximate a force as being proportional to some kind of offset. Often it's not exactly that, but as a first order approximation, it really helps you model what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's also common to include a term here proportional to the velocity. We call it a damping term.
Yeah,
this
that's what I was
Greek
talking
letter
about.
mu is representing another positive coefficient,
Woo!
and the negative sign is telling you the faster this mass is moving, the stronger that damping force. Maybe you think of it as friction, maybe you think of it as air resistance.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by myself.
As a physics student, always being bothered by the fact that neither friction nor air resistance actually behave like this, but the better way to view it is that, again, this is a first order approximation of whatever the slowing forces might be on this mass. The point is, we now have a differential equation. The position over time is an unknown function, but we know it has to adhere to this constraint. And your physical intuition probably tells you loosely what you expect the solution to look like here. There's going to be some oscillation back and forth, and then as it loses energy to whatever those damping effects are, the amplitude of that oscillation is going to decay. I'm going to go ahead and take this equation and move everything to one side of it, so that we're setting a bunch of stuff equal to 0. As a quick reminder,
Poisson cat activated mode for a
second.
second.
Not one specific function that solves it per se. For different initial positions,
Hey, I know that. I know this. We can turn this into a polynomial, into a quadratic function if we utilize this. So this is another place where Euler's constant is very cool. Or not Euler's constant, sorry, Euler's number. They're different. Euler's number is very cool. Being able to use this, then you take e to the t, and then you're able to turn this into a into just a quadratic, and then you can solve for it. That's cool. Anyways, not very Poisson of you. Sorry. Poisson of you. Yeah, I'm not very fish-like if I have a cat mode. I'm sorry, but let me find the picture of myself with cat ears. Let me find the picture of myself with cat ears. Boink. Cat mode me. Let me just keep this in the corner as a reminder. There we go. Ta-da! Ta-da! There we go. That'll just stay there for a bit.
where this mass might be, you're going to get distinct functions that also solve the equation. And that's actually only one out of two.
Bring back the cat ears.
Because all of these are solutions where the initial velocity is 0.
You're having a few drinks with your steak.
Starts out with
The
some
best way to do
non-zero
math
velocity.
is with a few drinks.
One of these combinations of an initial position and initial velocity corresponds to a distinct function that also solves the equation. So to solve this, really you're looking for a
You thought I was going to show a real picture? Bet. Wait, did I empty the recycle bin or not? Bet. Let me see if I've emptied my recycle, because I had one and I don't remember if I emptied my recycle bin after I deleted it. I've shown not stream before. Can we put the cat ear on the toaster when we hit 800 subs? Absolutely. I will 100% do that. I also got a little like cat ear headband for Christmas. That for like when I'm like putting like face like moisturizer stuff on and like face masks. And so I'm able to nya in my spa treatments. My nya treatments. My nya treatments. Yeah, I have so much. I gotta use more of my like my facial stuff. I have so much facial stuff that I need to like use more often. Jesus. Riskickleton? Are you okay? Are you okay, Riskickleton? I'm trying to let my recycle bin is not. It's taking its time to load. I don't know why. I don't think it should be that full. That's the thing. I don't think it should be that full at all. After stream, that's what I'm gonna do after stream. After stream, when I'm like editing shorts and stuff, I'm gonna do like a full. Oh, I should do like a full like, oops, a full like skincare routine for myself while I'm working. Want to do like I didn't shave before the stream, and so I have my little bit of because when you are femboy energy, you gotta shave every day. And so I didn't shave before the stream, and so I have some stubble coming in. And I'm like, ugh, sucks. My facial hair comes into so much. I really want to get electrolysis so I can burn away the hair follicles internally. This is taking too long. I refuse. You know what? You'll have to just live with the fact that you won't see my cat ears today. I'm sorry, but we have the little cat ears me down there.
Family of functions that solve it, and preferably you'd like some way to be able to narrow down which member of that family solves it for your specific initial conditions. So how do you solve it? Well, there's this one very bizarre trick which I remember really bothered me when I was a calculus student who first saw it, which is where you simply guess that the answer looks like e to the s times t, where s is just some constant, something that you're going to solve for. The reason this really bothered me is that guessing and checking like this sort of just feels like asking the student to know the answer ahead of time. And also your physical intuition is telling you that an exponential is probably not really how this mass on a spring behaves. And yes, this is frankly unsystematic. But the point I want to make is that
I'm gonna screenshot this real quick. Hold on a minute. I love this. I just love this little bit here. Okay, I just wanted to save that. You have a mustache ever since you were 12 and it's getting worse? Oh no. That's painful. Yeah, no. I hit puberty very late. I hit puberty after all my peers. And so that's something that I was so I didn't have to deal with that until past everyone else. But yeah, in modern times, and once I became an adult, my facial hair started getting in the way, and I was like, annoying. Oh no, I don't want that there. Where am I saving this? You know, we'll save it here. Ability. Ignore. Okay. Proof by guess. My favorite.
A desire to make this trick more systematic and more generalizable is going to be one of the things that leads you and me to the Laplace transform. Right here, let's just run forward and see what it gives us. If that position versus time really did look like e to the s times t, then when you take its derivative, you get the same function, but by the chain rule, you multiply it by s. And then the second derivative, again, looks like the same function, but it's picked up another factor of s. And then all of the other constants just kind of come along for the ride.
Exactly, and that's how we get.
Is that you can factor out that e to the s times t term.
Exactly.
And now everything that depends on time is tied up in this term right here.
And now moreover, you have a quadratic.
Exponentials will never equal 0. So if this equation is going to be true, it means that this part right here has to equal 0. So what you're left with is a piece of algebra. Solve this quadratic equation. One that looks kind of like a mirror image of the original differential equation that we had.
And so we can save time.
The easiest case here is if we ignore that damping coefficient, basically setting mu equal to 0 with a little bit of rearrangement and taking the square root. what you find is that s is going to be plus or minus the square root of negative k over m.
I remember that
now,
one.
K and m are both positive numbers, so that means whether you wanted it or not, I, the square root of negative 1, has now entered the game. This square root of k over m term is something that I'm going to give the suggestive shorthand name omega. And rolling back, remember what it is that s represents. We were exploring the possibility that a solution to this equation looks like e to the s times t. If we plug in these values for s, you now know what that means. Plugging in a purely imaginary term like this corresponds to oscillation in the complex plane. Now, on the one hand, that is very weird because...
Let's just read that. Negative b plus minus square root b plus minus square a for all over 2a. Yeah, I like that my model chose to freeze at this moment when trying to read that. It's the Tem village from Undertale trying to do the quadratic equation.
Obviously, our mass on a spring needs a real valued solution, not these complex functions. But on the other hand, the idea of oscillating kind of matches what you want to find. And it matches it quantitatively too. Imagine that you increase that value k, meaning you have a stronger spring. Well, then omega goes up, so that corresponds to faster oscillation. And your physical intuition backs that up. A stronger spring probably would give you faster oscillation. Even still, the result frankly feels bizarre, if not obviously nonsense. I mean, the position of the mass on a spring is clearly a real number. And if you zoom out, really what's going on here is that we found for the pure mathematical equation, divorced from any physics, there exists a complex valued function that solves it, namely e raised to the I omega times t. To connect this pure mathland answer to something that's actually physical, you need to squeeze out a real valued solution from this.
Your mathland.
The animation on screen kind of gives you one indication of how you could do this. You could just ignore the imaginary part, only consider the real component of this solution. That does actually work, but a better way to think about it, which will line up with the overall story I want to tell here that navigates towards Laplace transforms, is to add up the two distinct complex solutions that we just found.
Guess what we
get. When you add these rotating vectors tip to tail, the result stays constrained to the real number line. And in fact, the way that it oscillates on that number line over time looks like the function 2 times the cosine of that same frequency term times t. Now, the reason that you're allowed to just add two different solutions like this to get another
the ABCs were real numbers all along.
Of our equation. It's what we call a linear equation, which means if you have two distinct functions.
Hey, that's what I get for being, or that's what you get for being English major.
That sum of the two functions also solves the differential equation. And actually, you have more flexibility than that. If you scale each one of those functions by some constant and you add them up, that scaled sum is also a solution of the equation.
More like alpha, beta, gamma.
In solving an equation like this, we're not just looking for one function or even two functions. We're looking for a family of a whole bunch of solutions that will depend on the initial conditions. In this case, when we tried our admittedly random looking guess, and the math came back to us with two distinct functions, because it's linear, you can scale each one of those functions by some constant, add them together, and get a valid solution to the equation. And those scaling coefficients don't have to be real numbers. Those could also be complex numbers, which in this case affects the initial angle of each of those rotating vectors. The family of all possible functions you can get by tuning these two coefficients is the family of all possible solutions to the original equation. And most of these solutions are complex valued functions, but the real valued solutions are
mathematicians hate using numbers.
Which one you want depends on the initial conditions. For example, if the initial position is supposed to be 2 and the initial velocity is supposed to be 0, then you get a valid answer by setting both of these coefficients to be 1, basically meaning you're just adding the two solutions we found earlier. If the initial position is something different, then you simply scale both those constants by the same amount. Now, as presented so far, if this is supposed to be an example of why complex exponents are a natural and desirable thing, one of you could rightfully complain, this is all just needlessly complicated. If the so-called strategy is to just guess some function...
He should have said this is needlessly complex. That would have been comedy gold. Or, you know, a very small partition, a very small subset of the populace would have greatly enjoyed the phrase, this is needlessly complex. And then I wonder why my jokes fall flat in most crowds.
function with a free parameter, it's not
Excuse
like
me.
it's hard to guess for this situation that a cosine or a sine would solve the equation, and you could have that frequency term be the free parameter that you're solving for. What you would find if you knew to make this guess is that either cosine or sine can totally solve this equation as long as you set that frequency to be the square root of k over m. And then, just as before, because this is a linear equation, you can get the full family of solutions by scaling both of these.
Don't quit
and
your
adding
day
them
job.
together.
You're not the
And
only
this
one
is
laughing.
a really valid way
Hey!
to describe the family of solutions. Essentially, we're describing it with an alternate coordinate system.
Uh-huh.
You could argue this is a way more sensible coordinate system to use when we care about real solutions, because in this case, all the real solutions are what you get simply by setting those scaling coefficients to be real numbers. Isn't this just way more sensible? Why complicate things with complex numbers?
So a really good visual representation is to utilize the spring in order to mirror the wave position by changing the spring to be vertical. This comparison is something that I remember they never really showed off in differential equations. It's like, okay, use like this is smart. This is smart. I should recommend this channel to some people, because there are some people I know who had a real hard time with DiffyQ and find DiffyQ very scary. I will send them this video.
The value of putting exponentials front and center makes itself clear as soon as we try to generalize things. So far, when we solved for s, we got these two different values in the complex plane that are constrained to the imaginary line. And as you change what the constants k and m look like, you end up with different imaginary values that, for your solution, correspond to distinct frequencies in the oscillation that you get. But think about what it means if we reintroduce that damping coefficient, mu, setting it to something that's not equal to 0. Well, in this case, solving the equation looks like applying the quadratic formula, and you don't really need to dwell on the details of the algebra here. I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it looks like if I increase the value of that coefficient mu, and we see where the two corresponding solutions for s land in the complex plane. The salient feature is that they have not only an imaginary,
Have a
but
good night,
also a
Jay.
negative
Thanks for
real
coming.
component. And just a few minutes ago, we talked all about what it looks like if you want to exponentiate something with a negative real part.
You're not
and
going to
an
miss much
imaginary
more.
part.
I'm probably going to call it
both
after this because I'm
decays
hungry.
and
I just want to
oscillates.
finish this
The
video.
real part tells you how much it decays. The imaginary part tells you how much it oscillates. In
Said
this case,
earlier.
what I'll do is graph for you the real component of that exponential, and it kind of matches what you would expect of the spring. One thing that's actually pretty fun here is how if you increase that damping coefficient mu enough, eventually the solutions no longer have any imaginary part, and they only have a real component, meaning the solution just looks like decay. And when this happens, you call the spring over-damped. This whole example is called the damped
You would try to
harmonic oscillator.
fire it
Like I
off
said,
and it would
it's very
just
fundamental throughout
slow
physics.
down immediately.
So just understanding it in its own right is a worthy enough task. But how far does this dumb little trick actually take us? The straightforward way that you can generalize it is for any equation that looks like this, where you're taking a bunch of higher order derivatives, you're scaling each one by some constant, you add them all up, and you set the result equal to 0. In that case, everything we just did works essentially the same way. If you substitute e to the st for x,
I just realized this is kind of clever. You notice the shade slightly changes from a green to a blue as you get higher in the derivatives. That's a cool little detail. That's pointless, but I feel like. Excuse me.
then all of these derivative terms
I'm so
look
coffee
just
today.
like that, but each one picks up an additional factor of s. This lets you factor out all of the exponential parts, leaving you with a certain polynomial in s that you want to equal 0. One of the most fundamental facts in algebra, literally called the fundamental theorem of algebra, is that polynomials can always be factored into linear terms like this, exposing n roots to the equation, as long as you give those roots the freedom to maybe take on complex number values. So for example, if this was some 5th degree equation, your solutions might look something like this in the s-plane. Just like the oscillator example, this is basically
It's
the
funny
math
to call it
telling
the
you,
S-plane.
hey, e to the st
I never think of
can
it the
absolutely
S-plane.
be a valid solution as long as you set s equal to one of these values. And just as before, this is a linear equation. So you can find the family of all solutions by scaling each one of these exponentials and adding them together. All of these constants are like knobs and dials that you can tune to your heart's content. They can be real or they can be complex, allowing them
Knobs and dials, I wonder if these oscillations have anything to do with signal processing. The airplane.
To influence both the amplitude
Yeah,
and the
that's when
phase
you
of
have
each
to deal with
term.
drag.
The specific values will depend on your
As
initial
constants that
conditions.
affect your
Again, glossing over a
oscillations.
certain nuance when it comes to repeated roots, but this is the general idea. Unfortunately, most real-world equations are not simple linear ones like this.
Aw.
For example, the equation for a damped harmonic oscillator has actually come up on this channel before in a video about optics, but it came with a twist. We were studying why light appears to slow down in a medium like glass, causing it to refract. And the key question was to understand why this depends on the color of that light, giving the effect of a prism. Now, I'm not going to recount all the details here,
Assuming
but
the
what you need to
wave
know is
speed.
that deep in that video, we were modeling charges inside the material, like glass, as little damped harmonic oscillators. These little charges wiggling about some equilibrium position were being influenced by an external force, in this case an incoming light wave, which oscillated up and down as a sine wave. And critically, the frequency of that incoming light would in general have nothing to do with the natural resonant frequency of the oscillator. So in short, we were studying the same equation, but with this added term
The gay
that
light
looks like a
waves.
certain cosine expression.
The
Now,
gay light
unlike the linear
waves.
case, the family of solutions here does not look as simple as a linear combination of exponentials where you can freely tune all of those constants to your heart's content. And this dumb trick of just guessing e to the st certainly is not going to work. However, everything that we've discussed here does actually bring you a lot closer than you might expect. The solutions in this more complicated case do happen to look like a combination of 4 specific exponentials. It's just that unlike the linear case, you can't freely tune all of the coefficients. It's a lot more constrained. In fact, the whole substance of that prism example comes down to understanding exactly how big these coefficients are as a function of that incoming light frequency. This is a surprisingly common outcome where the solutions to some differential
What is this
equation
music?
that
This is
pops
so
up in the
pretty
real
background
world
music.
looks like a certain combination of exponentials, but with particular coefficients. This ubiquity of exponentials is why engineers benefit from an intuitive understanding of points on the S-plane and how they can encode growth, decay, and oscillation. You can kind of think about these functions e to the st as being like the atoms of calculus.
That's kind of why the whenever someone asks like, "Hey, do complex numbers actually show up?" My default answer is generally like, "Are you going into engineering?" That's a large place they show up. They show up other places too, but you'll see them a lot in engineering situations.
What I mean by that is that complicated functions that describe our world can often be broken up into these parts, as long as you give S the freedom to take on complex values. And by breaking it up that way, they become simpler to understand and to study. This becomes especially true if you allow for infinite combinations, potentially over a continuum of values for S rather than some discrete set. We're going to go deep with that idea, and it is hard to overstate how powerful it is. The key question is, given some unknown function and a differential equation describing it, even if you assume it can be broken up into exponential parts like this, how do you actually find what those parts are? Taking the forced harmonic oscillator, for example, how would you know that the solution is built out of 4 specific exponentials? How would you solve for the appropriate values of S in the exponents? And how would you
Wild
solve
guess.
for the corresponding
Gonna look at that next
coefficients
video.
for a particular initial condition? There is a tool for this job, and as you may have guessed by this point, it's something known as a Laplace transform. If you watched the earlier chapter about Fourier series, a lot of what I'm saying here is probably ringing all kinds of bells. Imaginary exponentials as describing a kind of rotation, breaking up general functions as a sum of those rotating exponentials.
I love that. I love that,
There's
Ava.
absolutely a connection here. A big part of the story I want to tell is how this Laplace transform we are building up to extends the notion of Fourier series and Fourier transforms, applying to a much more general family of functions. We're going to go into much more detail in the next 2 chapters, but here's a high-level preview. When you use a Laplace transform to solve a differential equation, it actually ends up looking remarkably similar to that dumb trick of substituting e to the st. In the context of our dumb trick, the differential equation turned into algebra basically because the act of taking a derivative is the same as multiplication by s, at least for these specific functions. That same thing happens when you use a Laplace transform, and it's for essentially the same reason too. What that operation does is translate functions into a new language, where these terms e to the st, the atoms of calculus, are the fundamental units. Then again, the fact
He's really
that
good at explaining
differentiation in
stuff.
time looks like multiplication by
I should watch
s
more of his
for
stuff.
these terms means that in this new
He's
language,
really good at
derivatives start
analogies.
to look a lot like multiplication, and differential equations start to look like algebra. To see how exactly this transform is defined, how you can visualize what it's doing, and how to use it to concretely solve a nonlinear equation, come join me in the next chapter.
I really like that. I really like that. He's really good at yeah, those kinds of descriptions and stuff. That's awesome. I gotta watch more of him. I've only ever watched a little bit. Funny enough, I was someone in this chat, someone in chat recommended me this channel at some point, and I never really watched a lot of it, but then I saw this and I was like, that sounds interesting. But yeah. So next chapter looks like the Riemann hypothesis. Sure. No, it's not. Don't worry. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You know, I'm gonna delete little Catboy Poisson real quick. I think we're gonna switch back. Okay. So with that in mind, I think it is time to call it 3 hours. I feel comfortable around the 3-hour mark. I got to yap so much. This just became a yapping stream. But hey, that's what the free space streams are kind of supposed to be. Whatever I want them to be. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I will see you all on Friday. I've been Poisson Variants here. And Friday, we're going to do either Undertale or Hollow Knight based off what people vote for. I'm going to close the vote on Thursday, just because why not? And then I'll make a stream for it. Anyways, I've been Poisson Variants, your mathematical maestro and LaTeX linguist. I will see you all next time. Thank you all for watching, and bye-bye!